40 seconds before we go on here.
Yep.
Is he going to get off?
If there's any justice in the world, he's in the jury right now. But the prosecution rushed to judgment. Within 48 hours, they had murder charges on this guy.
Yeah.
Because the woke mob demanded it.
All right, we got 30 seconds, folks. 30
All right,
seconds.
30 seconds, sir.
And we should be on Facebook.
We're on Facebook right now?
We should be on Facebook.
Hey. We should be on Facebook. Hopefully we're on Facebook at Free for All Friday, otherwise known as God Help Me.
All right, 15 seconds. Stand by. I will count you guys down. All right. And we're coming in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're going live.
All right. Well, we didn't get the intro, but we're here. That's called the silent intro, which we do from time to time because it's Free for All Friday. Welcome to Alan Autry No Retreat. I'm Alan Autry, and so honored and humble to have you with us on this Friday. And also, it's the time I get my two favorite people in life. My wife, Kimberly Autry. Welcome, Kimberly.
Thank you. Thank you for having
my
me.
good friend, Stephen. Don't get on my cloud. Stay off of my cloud. Welcome, buddy. Fine actor, fine individual, even better person, and so happy to have it. So this is when everything is out there. You know, there's really no particular subject. You can call in. The number on your screen, email us with the subject you'd like to talk about or comment on. So we're just going to get it off here on a, you've been watching this Kyle Rittenhouse trial, I'm sure. It's fascinating. You know, you feel, you know, it's human nature when there's so many things involved, Kim, Stephen, in this, with the young kid, 17 years old, wants to go and protect property and protect people in Kenosha, Wisconsin, where they were rioting after the Jacob Blake incident there, and went there, and bad things happened.
Watching him break down was it really got to me.
Well, it didn't get to Lebron James, and it's loaded with politics. People are bringing race in it.
Who'd you say?
LeBron James. We'll get to his tweet.
That?
Yeah, good. Well, otherwise known as King James. He's
on my bad list right now for that.
LeBlame James, because he LeBlames on everybody but himself.
I like that, Stephen.
Yeah.
LeBlame
but anyway,
James.
Let's set up a little bit more why and trying to understand LeBron James, because I really admire his talents. You know, but something's going on in the soul of that young man. He needs some help. Really, I'm totally serious to unpack that darkness that would make, you see this young man on the stand. And I don't know, it's a complete tragedy in all levels. For the Rosenbaum family, their son was obviously very mentally ill in a violent way, was attacking people there, attacked Kyle Rittenhouse, and Kyle shot him. And then they started after him, the mob, and running down the street. And this guy was on a skateboard. And you listen to the woke left. They said, a guy with a skateboard. He shot a guy on a skateboard. No, the guy got off the skateboard and used the skateboard like a baseball bat and swung it full force into Kyle Rittenhouse's head, knocked him to the pavement, was getting ready to finish the job when Kyle Rittenhouse shot him. It was not done there. This other fella jumped into the fray, pulled out his handgun, stuck it into Rittenhouse's face. It's all on video. It's all on video.
Stuck it right in his face. So what is this kid that is not even mentally handling all of this in the right way? I mean, what do you expect? He's there to protect.
Well, the thing is, don't you think, honey, that he did do the right thing in defending himself?
Well, absolutely. What else he's going to defend? That's what he was going there to do, and that's what he was going to do. Instead, they just agged this poor kid on and then put him on the stand like this. I'm just shocked. And
all of this is captured on video from start to finish. It's on video. There was a fellow there named Hernandez who was a journalist who had the camera going full time. There was other handheld cameras, the phones and all that stuff. But it was covered like a dang movie. It had pretty much every angle, Stephen, of it, every incident. is captured
kid
on
is
video.
Down on the ground.
So, yet the prosecutors in Kenosha immediately, within 48 hours, filed first-degree murder charges against Kyle Rittenhouse. They would have never done this under normal circumstances, folks. Let's take all the politics out of it. You just look at it from a legal standpoint. You would have gotten more information, looked at the video. Rittenhouse wasn't a flight risk. And you got to know if you're even going to bring charges against this young man. But the woke mob, the WFL, went after him, demanded that the prosecutors go after Rittenhouse, and they did. Now they're in the middle of this trial that they wish they never would have. The prosecutors wish they never would have.
You know what that
forward.
Saying goes.
Make it G-rated.
Yeah. I'm not going to say it.
Okay.
Wish it could have.
Well, no. If you want to stay, if we want people on this show, we don't want to. Steve, you hadn't heard about this. That's what happens when you live on Paradise Avenue, intersecting with Elvis
Vegas.
Presley in Las Vegas. Well, you usually know everything. You're like Nostradamus. You're like Karnak the Magnificent. How did you miss this one?
Well, you know what? I've stayed up on the news almost on every issue. And then this one, I remember the story when you were telling it to me earlier. And it's kind of depressing because I see, I've been seeing that the media has been trying to attack this guy. And one thing for sure is you never trust what the media is saying. You have to look. The media is like David Copperfield. What they're showing you usually is not what you should be looking at. If you want to know the truth, you got to look the other hand. You know? What they got in their right hand is not what's important. It's what's behind the curtain. It's too bad that, you know, usually when you prosecute somebody, you should look into all the details. You come after somebody. And I did hear Lebron James come out. And usually when Lebron James, I don't think Lebron James has been right on any issue. Has he ever been right?
Well, I'm hard-pressed to think of an issue where he's been fair and open-minded. He sees race in everything. Here's a man who posted a picture of this police officer who stopped the killing of a young African-American woman being ready to be stabbed to death, and the cop makes a split-second decision, which he has to live with the rest of his life, to take a life to save a life. And LeBron James posts a picture of this cop saying, "You're next," like you're in the crosshairs of the mob, and we're coming after you, and you should have let it go and escalate. And I'm thinking, and this is on top of a bunch of other tweets.
Okay, but Facebook, social media, they're not going to block him, or they take him off.
That's a good point. You know what? I'm more concerned, honest to goodness,
because that affects people.
Honest to goodness, man.
He influences. He's a big influencer.
He put a target on the cop. Do you remember that, guys? Remember on the photo?
Well, you're breaking up. You're really breaking up, Steven. We have a bad feed in there with you, my brother.
Oh, no.
Now you've cleared up a little bit.
Okay, say that again about the target.
Remember on the picture that LeBron put on, he actually had the target symbols around the cop.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But they don't take him off social media, do they?
Oh, my gosh. He'd be so banned. If somebody did that to a left-wing person, put the left-wing person in the targets, oh, my gosh, they'd probably be criminally prosecuted.
And as soon as you think the man, LeBron James, who acts like a child so often, 37 years old, this guy is, you think he can't go any lower and be more racist in his comments. And you see something like this, and the coldness, the callousness. If you saw Kyle Rittenhouse on the stand, what he's had was a classic panic attack. If you've seen panic attacks, they're different. What does LeBron James tweet? He says, "I didn't see no tears." There's no tears there. Come on, man. You took some lemon drops or something before you come on there. And then a laughing emoji with tears coming out, laughing so hard, tears are coming out. And how do you begin to unpack?
It's racist. That's racist.
Well, it's just, I don't know if it's racist in that regard.
I think it's racist.
Well, that's...
I'm sorry, but I think that's racist.
I don't know how to explain it other than it's coming from a cold, callous, dark heart that you tweet something like that. And you watch Kyle Rittenhouse's mother talk about the pain this young man has had to go through. And you have LeBron, and I hope, you either learn empathy and a soft heart, or life will show it to you big time. And I pray that his kids stay on the straight and narrow, that they never veer off and get involved in something that could break his heart, and he has to look at people tweeting laughing emojis while his son is suffering. I don't wish that on him, but I will tell you, when you act like that and you tweet like that and you show such such a depth of insensitivity, and I hate to say this word, but almost hate. And as Kim says, everything about him has become racial. And I see Michael Eric Dyson on CNN somehow bringing race into this and calling it a racist action. It was white on white. Prime, how do you find racism in that,
my
Stephen?
Gosh.
Kim, how do you find that? In that incident?
No, he got it mixed up. He got the people mixed up.
Well, I tell you what, if it would have been, and you have, everybody plays this game. This is the world we're in. I hate to say this, but this is the racist game. Well, what if it would have been a white person that had that gun, and Michael Eric Dyson said, and the police told him to go home? Okay? If it would have been a black man there, they would have shot him. And I'm thinking, have you seen the cops being attacked in 2020, hit in the head with frozen water bottles, Louisville sluggers, and not do anything to the black perpetrators that did that? They didn't do anything to the black. So you say, what would they have done to a black individual? Probably the same. Go home. And yet, if this would have been,
but the jurors
Rittenhouse,
are being targeted.
Well, look, if it would have been Kyle Rittenhouse, would have been black. Let's just everybody talks about a frank,
go ahead. I said that
discussion.
without saying that.
Well, no, it's a frank, open discussion. You, Michael Eric Dyson, you want to play the what ifs? What would the scenario be? All in racial terms. Okay, let's talk about it. But you got to include that scenario into this deep, bigger, broader discussion you always champion, which it really isn't, Dyson.
It would have been a different situation. And that's what I believe.
Well, of course, LeBron James would be tweeting that this guy had a perfect right to defend himself against somebody trying to take his life simply because of this color of his skin.
You did hear what was going on with the jurors and things like that.
Well, the jurors are getting a chance to see all of this, which I'm glad that's the case. But let's okay, we're gonna move on if it's all right with everybody. It's going to be interesting to see how this goes, and if he's acquitted, what happens with the so-called peaceful protest people. Are they going to hit the streets again? Are the police going to react the same way? Is it going to be quiet? We don't know.
And then we go back to Aaron Rodgers, his girlfriend.
All right, let's go to Aaron Rodgers.
That's on Big Little Lies. His girlfriend is a great actress on Big Little Lies. If nobody's ever watched that, with Nicole Kidman, Reese Witherspoon. Just a great show. And
what's her name?
Gosh,
Anyway,
just dribbling.
She's appreciated, probably known as Aaron Rodgers' fiance.
Girl, I'm so sorry. I just went off the top of my head. I just watched a movie with her.
You get a lot of points on the feminist movement with that.
Sorry, honey. She's so awesome.
I think her last name's Woodley. Isn't it? Woodley?
Oh, yeah, Shailene Woodley.
Yeah, Shailene
Woodley. She's standing by her man.
Okay, she's standing by her man.
Yeah, she's a Tammy Wynette standing by George Jones.
She is like a really cool chick, too.
She hit the Twitter waves to protect. And yesterday on the show, we really, Stephen, I know you watch the show religiously. Well, thank you.
Absolutely.
But I did
anybody with any taste listens and watches the show.
Well, you'll get some folks that will argue with you on that.
And you lick a little higher.
But State Farm Insurance, they stood by Aaron Rodgers. What do you think about that? Usually those corporates, giants, just at the any inkling
they usually don't
of the Twitter mob coming after you, drop them like hot rocks, man. But
well, they're saying he lied.
They drop claims. They drop people with the woke mob almost as fast as they drop claims.
Yeah, exactly right. What do you think about State Farm? Shouldn't they be commended for that?
You know what? The thing about Aaron Rodgers to me, though, and I'm not saying I'm pro-vaccine or anti-vaccine. I think it's a personal choice. But the fact that he lied about it, whereas at least Kyrie Irving stood up and took the fire and says, hey, I'm not going to take it.
Right.
So I do have a problem with Aaron because Aaron lied.
He didn't really lie.
Yeah, he did.
But,
I love the Packers.
He should have just came out and said it.
Would you tell your kid who acted that way and beat around the bush and said, I'm immunized?
Okay, like an example, Matthew McConaughey that's running for governor in Texas, he goes, I love what he said. He said, about vaccinating his kids. And he goes, no, I am not vaccinating my kids until I know more about it. Mm-hmm. And that's just straight out honesty.
That's what Steven's saying Aaron should have. But back to the question. Do you commend State Farm Insurance for not dropping him and keeping Aaron Rodgers, saying, we know what he said, we know what he did, we forgive him, and we're going to keep him?
Well, yeah, everybody deserves a second chance.
Steven,
yeah, when you put it that way, Alan, in the manner that you framed it, then I'm going to say yes, because nobody stands by anybody anymore,
I agree.
God forgives. God doesn't cancel. I mean, God didn't even cancel, if you believe in everything, God didn't even cancel Satan. He's still around. God doesn't cancel, but the evil side of this universe cancels.
We do know someday Satan will be canceled.
Yeah. He's canceled for 1,000 years, but he's canceled for 1,000 years. Then he makes a return again. It's kind of
yeah.
But by the grace of God, there go you or I.
Let's take a quick break. When we come back, I want to talk about this $456,000 that may be paid to folks that are here illegally. And what do you think about that?
We can't even take care of ourselves.
This is Alan Autry, No Retreat. We'll be right back.
I mean, I'm listening.
You're on.
I know that. You say that every time.
You almost dropped one.
But I didn't. What are you laughing at, Steven?
Alan, I had to close Facebook because of the connection.
Okay.
Yeah. So
is it back on?
Yeah. Well, no, it's not off. I'm talking about from our screen.
Oh, fine.
Yeah,
no, that's fine.
No. We're still on Facebook.
That's
okay,
fine.
Great. What do you mean from our screen?
Always does warn Kim that
too much memory.
But I wonder, maybe Alan's saving Kim. What if I don't know. I mean, Kim seems to know, but I just wonder because Kim's opinions are outstanding. I mean,
thank you.
They are, but you have to tailor them for radio and live. The FCC doesn't like that, and Guillermo kind of, at least at this point, wants the show to stay on the air. So you drop one of those, and then you're off.
I love the reframing and the softening, using the term tailor the comments. I love it.
Yes, you learn to not mansplain. You learn to communicate in a proper way that gets the desired results. Right?
They were on
if you want, the quickest way to keep an argument going from a man's standpoint. If you have an argument, this is guys out there. If you want to keep an argument going, just tell your wife or your significant other when you're arguing, say, would you just please calm down?
Shut the front door.
Yeah.
Hey, wait a minute. Is that why it's never working for me when I keep trying?
Oh, yeah. It sounds
that tailored
good.
enough?
Well, in our man mind, that's a nice thing to say. In the heat of battle with a woman, I finally, after all these years, realized that's like pouring gasoline on a forest fire. Just calm down. Calm down. Don't be hysterical. Just calm down and let's talk about this in a calm manner. Man, all you'll see is fists and elbows coming at you.
What are you about?
Not
you
really.
Never had that happen?
No, Robert. I've never. Kim's never done that to me ever. Seriously, never came at me physically. We've argued. Yeah, she thought about
it. You know what I saw? What movie I saw that was really, really cute?
What's that?
This G-rated. No, Clifford, the big red dog.
Yeah, you said that.
About being different.
Yeah.
And it was so
All right, we got 1
cute.
minute,
Good
folks.
message,
1 minute
good
remaining.
Message. So cute. Adorable. But
I feel like crossing the border and coming back and making $450,000.
That's what I'm going to do.
Quite an incentive, isn't it?
Yeah.
Now I'm listening to the news this morning, and they're like going, "Okay, these people they're looking for places for people to stay." In our city that don't have a place to stay.
Free hotels, free food.
All right, we got 30 seconds remaining. 30 seconds remaining.
Okay, 30 seconds, folks.
What are they talking about? Just blows me away. Am I making
15 seconds. Please stand by.
All right.
And we're coming in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're live.
And
Alan, please.
You're listening to the Alan Autry Show on the best talk in town. Talk Radio 1550 KXEX. Call Alan now, 559-899-1550.
And welcome back to Alan Autry No Retreat, otherwise known on Fridays as Organized Chaos, with Kimberly Autry and Stephen Cloud. When we went to the break, we teased this next subject. $456,000 are talking about paying people that were separated from their children at the border. There seems to be, it appears the last government number that was released, of which that happened to, was around 100 folks that happened to. And what do you think about that?
I think I'm with Stephen. I'm gonna go and come back through the border.
Pretty good incentive. Pretty good incentive, isn't it? It's really an amazing thing to think about.
Hey, I'm all for helping people. I really am. I mean, but until we actually are, settled here in the U.S., how can we help other people? Well, when we got our own people starving here and living on the streets and things that are needed so bad in the U.S., and we're giving away money and overcrowding, and we don't even have ourselves settled.
Well, Stephen, on what Kim just said, though, even if your country was flush, you had everybody, quote unquote, taken care of, which I think is something that is not guaranteed in our country. It's the work ethic. You work for what you deserve, and you have to put some effort in it. It's the free market system in America was never intended for able-bodied people just to do nothing and have everybody else pay for that. That's just not what this country's about. But even if we had our problems, as Kim said, solved to that point, would you still have a policy that say, come over here illegally, jump in front of the people that are doing it legally, going through the legal immigration process, jump the line, come here illegally, and we'll pay you, and we'll reward you with hundreds of thousands of dollars? Is there ever a time that's right to do something like that?
No, he's mentally blown.
Let me ask Stephen.
All right, go.
Boom. There's so many issues here, and one of them is like, even if you were to, let's monetarily take care of people, even if they come illegal, even if we want to, then you're dealing with $450,000 per person. I even saw some reports that some of these families were going to make like $3.5 million. It's like, wait, it's like there's so many different issues here. It's so ridiculous. And then, there's these great Hispanic people, especially here in of course, all over the United States, but especially here in the Center Valley, where I'm from, in Fresno, who are working 8 to 5 jobs, 9 to 5 jobs, maybe double jobs, triple jobs, and they're not coming close to $450,000, and they're separated from their family all day while they're working. So I'd feel a lot better giving them $450,000.
Absolutely.
Well, let me ask you this:
the housing market has rose so much, people can't even afford homes here.
I've been wanting to ask this question. I'd like your guys' input on it, and folks, feel free to call in and chime in. But when you drill down into this issue and you really see what's going on, you find out that the Obama administration separated so-called families. Because what this matters is a woman or a man comes to the border, say they have 1 or 2 children. They just say, these are my children. They have no identification. They have no proof. So they're separated for a reason, to try to figure out who they really are. Because human trafficking of children, sadly, horrifically, is a horrible problem in the United States of America and around the world. So you separate them so you can get them and ask the kids questions in private. Is this really your mom and dad? Is this really what happened? Is why you're here? Did these things actually happen? What your mom and dad, so-called mom and dad, said? So you separate them. And where do you get the information to verify and validate their claims? They will tell you, they mean Homeland Security, If these people, they don't know anything about them. They have to go on the word of the adult.
Okay, wait.
And then let me put this on the table, and I'll turn it over to you guys. To me, I'm thinking about this journey that many of these families went on. So-called families that may not be. You take a kid, infants, kids 5, 6, 7 years old, on this trek from not just Mexico, but Ecuador, Honduras, Haiti. They come across through the most awful terrain, take their lives in their hands, deal with assorted types of people and coyotes, and get a ride here, a ride there, make a deal here for food here and there. Isn't that a form of child abuse? If you're going to bring a kid on that kind of journey, put a child through that, you had better check out on that mother that you're leaving and fleeing something really, really, really horrific. To put a child through that big of a journey and put that kid's life at stake.
The last
day
thing I saw
after day. So isn't that a form of, if you don't really if you're not really fleeing a situation that could be a threat to your life or your physical safety, isn't that really a form of child abuse to take a child on that long journey?
I would say to some extent.
Alan and Kim, what about some of those kids? They apparently come without parents altogether. They're just sent, at least allegedly, it's according to the media.
Unaccompanied minors, yeah.
They're sent by themselves. I don't want to judge anyone who comes over who may be looking for a better life. I'm
with you.
For a better life for sure. But I think Kim and Alan and myself and probably most of these listeners would say, hey, we still got to look at who's coming and their reasons for coming and their intentions. I don't think anything's wrong with it. Every country does that. We're not racist for doing what every country does. What's interesting is the same people who say it's racist to ask people for documents are the same ones who are demanding that people show their documents, whether they've been vaccinated or not, which is a much more personal decision than do you have like a driver's license and or ID. So it shows that they have no integrity they also say it's racist to show an ID if you're going to vote. But it's not racist to show two different forms of ID that match your vaccinated passport. It's unbelievable.
Oh, yeah, the hypocrisy is just ridiculous. But here's what I like to talk to folks about.
But can I say something really quick on the human trafficking?
Go ahead.
Is that I was was brought up to me, is that in human trafficking, what they're doing in the South is that on girls that are in high school and junior high or that have cars, is they're going on the back of the car and they're putting a small little X. And that means they are a target for human trafficking.
No.
Yes. And so
that's pretty scary.
A lot of these girls, like Arkansas, Texas.
That's where you heard it from?
Yes.
Your connections in Arkansas?
Yeah. Their girls are getting little tiny X's on their car. And that's how they know that they are targeted for human trafficking.
Wow.
I mean, and I want to say shout out to my sister Tanya and Leah. And Cheryl, and she just had surgery, so all the girls went up there and helped her out.
And don't leave precious Aunt Jan and Dane out of the mix.
Well, of course, I always talk about Jan and Jan and Trevor.
A big shout out to family in Arkansas. We love y'all.
But Tanya and Leah, I think, were the ones that were telling me about that because my little sister has a daughter, Lucy, that's in junior high, and she's 14, just turned 14.
Don't give too much more information.
Well, okay.
No. Go ahead.
Anyway, their friends are getting that on targeting. Well, no, they'll know that we're looking for that now.
But
I hear a lot of people, especially on the left and completely with the WFL, the woke far left. They say the vast majority of these folks that are coming over here are good, honest, hardworking people just looking for a better life. You know what? Agreed. That's my gut feeling. The problem is we can't go by gut feelings on this. There's too much at stake. You have to know, we have to know, as Stephen said, as Kim has said, as you out there know, we have to know who these people are, because you could have 99.9% of them fit that description. They just want a better life. But that one that you don't check out is the one that can really damage, destroy, and take lives. For example, Biden is flying these folks out on flights in the dead of night and flying these folks that have not been checked out, not even completely, not even at all, really.
They just can't even fly without our COVID card.
Well, they're flying them all over to different states, and a lot of red states. So is there a connection there? Why just the red states? But just recently, if you haven't heard, in Florida,
we have Laura Fisher on the line.
One of those individuals, Honduran refugee, a Honduras immigrant, who said he was a minor. Turns out he wasn't a minor. He's 22 years old.
Oh, yeah.
Took the Biden flight to Florida, was dropped off in Florida, and proceeded to break into a home and stab a 55-year-old man 9 times, killed him, and is now arrested. What was he doing? He got into the country without being vetted, got a free ride to Florida, and then proceeded. Now, is that indicative of everybody? No, but that family and that man is not living anymore. He's not on the earth drawing breath. It could have been prevented if you just had an orderly process and you just didn't let people indiscriminately like this.
I mean, they're letting people in. They're not even checking. They're not checking. They're just letting them in. I mean, there's got to be some kind of legalization. There's got to be a format. There's got to be some kind of formality to what's going on here.
Well, there is. The Biden administration
chaos.
is breaking the law. That's why the courts are stepping in, and that's what Republicans are talking about. It is against the law. You can't grant asylum like that by executive fiat. There's a process you have to go through to enter this country. Now, it hasn't been enforced for decades.
Oh, you show me. I mean, brings me up, but the guys that were throwing the rocks at the policemen with the shields and all that, and the cops were like shielding themselves from the big riot of the people some people coming over. Was that from? That was
Haiti.
Where?
That was the caravan that's heading this way. The caravan from Haiti, which is as big as a city. Coming this way, they're heading through Mexico to go to the border. Yeah, and they're just running. They're just running right through the Mexican police, just shoving them out of the way and heading this way. And those type of people, right then, need to go back. If you're going to throw a rock and make your way here violently already,
that's
what
bad
you're dealing
news.
with. And I don't want to blanketly, condemn all those folks. And that's the problem when you let a policy like this. Then
innocent people get blamed.
Well, you don't get the innocent people that want a better life, that truly want to make America great by coming here, get caught up in that, and they don't get to come here because you're going to have to address this sooner or later.
Order.
And that's we got Laura Fisher on line. Laura, how you doing? Laura, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
How you doing, girl? Happy Friday.
Hi, Laura.
Happy Friday to you.
Yeah. What's on your mind?
The reason I called in is because, I've heard so much about Trump's racist immigration policies and how, as a result of his racist policies, this is why they have to pay out all this money. But what they don't talk about is that in 2017, when the Trump administration was made aware that a caravan of people coming from Guatemala, Honduras, and El Salvador were making their way to our border, they made the decision to double the amount of foreign aid money to those 3 countries specifically. So instead of getting $62.9 million, they got a total of $131 million.
Holy cow.
And they also eliminated the rule that said that it could only be used for food and medicine emergency aid to allow them to beef up their security forces in El Salvador specifically because of the gang problem.
Right.
Well, it didn't work, so they did it again. So here's the thing. They exhausted every possible avenue that they could based on our foreign aid policy and the way that we're supposed to mitigate illegal immigration. What else were they supposed to do? This was their last resort in doing the Title 42 and having to separate people. They had no choice. Mm-hmm. They can't put children with adults.
Right.
And they had an onslaught of people. So they spent hundreds of millions of dollars. We're still spending hundreds of millions of dollars. And these people are not staying in their country. So I say we take their money away. If we're going to have to pay them $450,000 each when they come to our border, then we take away the money from the country.
Yeah, there has to be something done like that. The first thing you need to do is just reinstate Trump's stay in Mexico policy. When you had that in place, you didn't have these caravans formed. All of South America and the world knew that the border not closed, but you had to play by the rules to get in here. You didn't have all of this nonsense to deal with. So for Biden, it's a simple fix to start with. Just reinstitute the Trump stay in Mexico policy if you really wanted to fix the border. But Laura and listeners, Kim, Stephen, I'm convinced that they don't want to fix it. They want to happen.
They don't.
Exactly what is happening.
You're right.
Exactly what is happening is what they want. They want open borders. They want chaos. They want a bunch of new voters for the woke WFL. They think they can get them in here, brainwash them, get them hooked on government assistance, and they'll vote to keep that little measly handout they'll get for the rest of their lives. That's the plan. I'm not saying that's what all the immigrants want that are coming here, but that's the plan.
But
it's
they
obvious.
come here with nothing, so it's easy for them to become dependent
Exactly.
on getting a handout when they come with nothing.
And you know what, Laura, what gets me is how the WFL, like Michael Eric Dyson and those on the left, Joy Reid, they go after people like Sears. Winsome Sears, the recently elected lieutenant governor in Virginia, African-American woman, Marine, and she speaks about her father coming here from Jamaica with $1.75 in his pocket, and he was able to work hard, live the American dream. She took those same principles and said, I love this country. It's not a racist country. You can work your way to the top. If you want to work, play by the rules, you can become lieutenant governor of a state or president of the United States. And she said, it is not a race. And they have gone after her. Michael Eric Dyson told her she was the black face, but her tongue was the ramp for the white supremacy. So that shows you they don't even want to hear any success stories about a black individual. They only want to highlight the failures, the oppression, the perceived oppression, that they're still in chains here. And the only chance they have, the only savior they have is big government coming in and pushing down the old oppressive white person.
It's such a lie. It's kind of like the stimulus money. It's going right back in their pocket.
But anyway, it's just, Laura, I appreciate your call on this. This is hopefully...
Well, the only other
go
thing
ahead.
that I would like to add to this that makes me sick to my stomach about it is because I took on a second job so that I can help pay to evacuate someone who worked for our government out of Afghanistan.
I know you did.
Department won't give
God bless you for that.
a dime.
God bless you.
These people actually they're risking their lives now.
Yeah.
They won't even bother to lift a finger or give a dime to any of these charitable organizations trying to get these people out. But yet, we have 200 and something Haitian immigrants staying at a five-star hotel on Beachside in Daytona, enjoying all of the amenities.
It is just insane. It is pathological. It is beyond anything you could imagine. It makes no sense other than your agenda is to completely tear down every institution, every law, because it's all created by the boogeyman white people, and start all over. And as to quote Biden, build back better. You got to listen to that slogan. There's a lot loaded in that slogan, build back better, which denotes you have to tear down something completely if you want to build it back. And they're thinking that from the Constitution, packing the Supreme Court, you can go on opening up our borders and letting crime go out of control and that criminals run rampant. It's all designed to tear down the system that we have of individual liberties and build back a system of oppression based on Marxism. It's absolutely as clear as the nose on our faces here, and we got to stand up against it. And that's why I'm so thankful at Virginia that I think we're seeing a little microcosm that people have had enough of it. This country, is not ready to fold itself and give itself over to a Marxist regime, which is exactly what this is. So you just keep doing the good thing, Laura. You keep doing the right thing. God bless you, dear. You're a great American, and I know it takes a toll doing the right thing, but as the Bible says, never weary of doing good. And but do get your sleep, okay?
Well, I have to tell you one other thing.
Yeah.
Your movie was a huge hit last night.
Oh, did you? Was that last night? It's a victory by submission.
Last night.
Oh,
Wow.
Appreciate that. They appreciate. So they enjoyed it.
Stephen, your
So much
debut.
so that I left them my
Yes.
Fire Stick so they can watch it again.
Oh, that's fabulous. That's fabulous. Laura, thank you so much. Listen, you take a deep breath, have a great weekend, relax, and do what you do to relax, because I know Monday comes, you're going to be out there just doing good. Again, you're a great American, and appreciate you following this show. I really do. Thank you so much, dear. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We come right back. We're almost done with Free For All Friday. I'm already sad. Love, I'm not going to be able to see that lovely, handsome face there on the monitor, but I get to go home with this beautiful young lady. Am I right? Here?
Oh, man, I'm jealous.
So-
I'll trade you.
So, no, sorry, no deal, buddy. What's in Vegas right now stays in Vegas. That's you, dude. This is Alan Autry, No Retreat. We'll be right back.
We could have some fun in Vegas, man.
Oh, that was just too funny.
Couldn't we?
Oh,
yeah.
I mean, we need to come there and go to some
Yeah,
shows.
just go to Vegas for the shows, yeah. People just go to Vegas for the shows.
I want to go to the shows. I like the shows.
Sure. That's all
In
you
fact, I got
I
some.
enjoy the shows actually in Las Vegas. It is
Yes.
a great. I mean, there is actually no place in the world. I mean, maybe you could say Broadway, maybe you could say the West End of London,
Yeah,
but that's it. That'd even be in comparison to the great shows that we have here in Las Vegas.
we need to do that.
Yeah, but once you've seen the show, what do you do? You'll get in
Well, I mean-
trouble.
You'll be at the gambling
Dude.
table.
Here in Las Vegas too, you have the best. It's the best probably food city in the whole world too. You have
You know, that was the one thing
You're right.
I remember about losing all my money at Vegas or Tahoe. You could eat good, and they would.
absolutely.
Yeah.
You know what? That might be the next girls' trip. Vegas.
Girls trip.
I did tell you guys.
Alan
Hey,
goes,
chop liver. What
girls
am I going to
trip.
do? Stay home and
I
watch
have-
Sports Center? Okay. That's not bad. Woody will come over. Woody, you come over and watch
Actually,
Sports
Alan,
Center with me when she goes to Vegas? Okay.
Alan, you could make a movie called Girls Trip, and it's just about these girls getting in some trouble coming to Vegas.
Listen.
Just follow me and my friends.
I got a son we have a son that just did a horror film. I don't want to do another horror film.
Yeah,
That would be R-rated.
yeah. Just me and my friends could do that
What?
movie.
Huh?
Me and my friends could do
Yeah,
that
that's
movie.
that. You're going to hurt
You
your
just know
reputation.
a very interesting fact about Las Vegas. Throughout most of its history, Las Vegas, every casino, one of the biggest things on the floor was all the gambling. It took up most of the space. Now it takes the least amount of space. Now it's all about restaurants and shopping, and it's basically now
Shopping's great there.
it became a vacation getaway now.
Yeah,
Okay.
you just haven't been in a long time.
What?
Alan, you're missing out. They got tons of Elvis impersonators here. You can have a good time.
I remember when there was like a couple, and they were really good Elvis impersonators. I've seen some of them now. There's so many of them. It's like when you do
We used to have one at the workshop that was
copy off a
great.
copy
Jeremy
machine.
Pierce was good.
I was just going to say his name.
Jeremy
I remember
Pierce
Jeremy
was
Pierce, yeah.
awesome.
Well, I think
was,
he still does it, doesn't he? Of course, it would be Elvis the later years now. I mean, he's gotten a little older too. But
Elvis's grandpa.
Nah,
1
he's not
minute.
that old.
the best though,
Hey,
Jeremy
right
Pierce,
across the street from
best.
here at the
Elvis.
Elvis Las Vegas Hilton, which is now called
Beautiful
the Westgate.
mom.
Barry Manilow is performing.
Really?
A legend. A
Yeah,
legend.
Barry Manilow is.
We
a
share the
legend,
same
so-
birthday.
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't
you're
know any
kidding.
more
Barry do?
hits.
Yeah, June 17th. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, mine's June 1st. And Marilyn Monroe. I was born on Marilyn Monroe's birthday.
All right.
Wow.
Yeah.
You guys both have that.
She
screen
sings happy
presence and
birthday to
charm.
me every night.
Happy birthday.
All right, we got 30 seconds. 30 seconds.
I pretend
Happy birthday.
I pretend I'm John Kennedy.
To you.
Oh, man.
Happy birthday. Mr.
Marilyn, ask not what I can do for you.
All right, we got 15 seconds,
Oh,
folks.
wow.
15
Oh,
seconds.
my gosh.
All right, stand by. We're coming in 10,
Oh, good
9,
grief.
8, 7, 6, 5,
God.
4, 3, 2, 1. Listen to the music.
You're listening to the Alan Autry Show on the best talk in town. Talk Radio 1550
Come on, Steve, just act
KXEX.
like
Call
it.
Alan now. 559-899-1550.
Welcome back to the show, boy. We got Woody head bobbing. Stephen head bobbing, Kim's dancing. And this is the last segment of Alan Autry, No Retreat. We never retreat from the principles that made this country great, God, family, and country. And I know most of our listeners, if not all of them, feel the same way. And we just love Free for All Friday. You know, I'm thinking what subject to end it on. And I'd like to bring this one up because I truly am interested in, I'm interested in all the subjects. But this one, you know, really gets, I want to get the feedback, especially from you, Kim, and listeners. Feel free to call up. Sarah, y'all know who Sarah Jessica Parker is? I know, one of your
Sex and the City,
one of your favorite actresses. Stephen, you know Sarah Jessica Parker? Have you ever heard of her?
Yes, I never watched Sex and the City.
Well, I didn't either, but you've heard her. She's done.
Oh, you are so.
Okay, let me lay it out here because we only have a little bit of time.
Okay,
and then you guys take over.
Carlos, go.
She is getting lit up. She's getting lit up on Twitter, being criticized mercilessly because she had the audacity to let her hair go gray. And she was spotted at a restaurant having a little tea with Andy Cohen, one of these reality star guys, very nice personality, who's decided to let his hair go gray during the COVID deal, and he kept it gray. He's not coloring his hair anymore.
Yeah.
And the Twitter people went crazy. They wanted to see Sarah Jessica Parker from Sex and the City. It was just shocking to people. They said, "Why did you let your hair look like you look so old?" And Andy came back to her defense saying, "Hey, dude, I'm right there with you. Why didn't you pick on me?"
They were having lunch in New York at an outside cafe. Someone spotted them and made a big deal about her having gray hair. Didn't even mention Andy's gray hair. And I don't think she's letting it go. It's just, you know, she let it go, not colored it for a couple of months or so.
Yeah, but they're doing that for a reason because the reboot of Sex and the City, right, is going to be about them in middle age. No, I read the article. People, that's what they're doing.
But they're all not going to go around with gray hair.
Well, she said she was going to do that. That's what she was doing it for.
Well, she doesn't need to do that.
So you're the ones that don't like it?
I don't like it.
Well, she seems to think that, hey, I'm going to embrace it. I'm going to embrace this gray hair, and the others in the cast are going to dress instead of the mini skirts. They're going to kind of go the journey.
You can't dress like when you were in your 20s, like, you know, skirts up to your butt. And
which I kind of respect that the producers would do that, Stephen, and then the actresses, it seems like, are kind of embracing it, saying, you know, we're going to, instead of running from being our mid-50s, late 50s, early 60s, we're going to embrace it, and here's what we look like. Here's the natural.
It's different now, though. I mean, it's different now. I mean, you look different now.
But you said you didn't like her.
Dress different now.
But you just said you didn't like her doing it.
The gray hair, no, I think that she's too pretty to have gray hair. It washes her out too much.
You don't think that gray hair can be pretty? On Andy Cohen, it looks good. Why wouldn't it look good on her?
Because some guys look great with gray hair and some guys don't.
So
you should relate to that.
Well, you're the one that focused on. He said I should get a face replacement. On the way over here, we're having a little discussion whether she had his sister and best friend Leah on the line talking about getting Botox and this and that. And I just made a joke, thought I'd get a little remark to say, you know, I said, I need a face replacement, not a facelift or a little Botox. I need a face replacement. So you're fishing for a compliment like she say, oh, honey, you don't need that. You're handsome. She goes, yeah, you really do need a face replacement.
No, I said, yeah.
Wow.
You know, I was FaceTiming my girlfriends. I just wanted you to be quiet, actually.
That was the first thing I'd said. I was perfectly quiet and let you guys it was the first thing I said. Pretty much the only thing I said because my feelings were hurt so bad.
Oh, please!
I've got to tell you in front of God and everyone and our listeners.
Well, I'll book
Although I did look in the mirror this morning.
I'll book you an appointment.
I do have a face that's worn out 2 bodies, but I'm going to do the Robert Mitchum and the John Wayne and the Clint Eastwood thing
because we were talking about old therapy and all this stuff.
I'm going to just go face it, embrace it. You know, I'm going to brace my 70s and what. But listen,
Alan,
the question
Clint
is,
looks like he did some work.
No, he hasn't. That's just old.
Like
that's just 91, man. Well, no, he's always stayed in great shape.
I think he did a little work.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Oh, yeah. No. He pulled it a little tighter.
Cowboys don't do that. Cowboys don't do that.
Did a little work, Alan. No. I could tell.
Yeah.
No. Dirty Harry did not do that. The man with no name did not do that. He did not go to Beverly Hills and get
You're so vain.
Yeah.
Alan, what do you think?
You probably
about
think this show's about you.
We don't see. I mean, we saw Richard Gere go gray.
Okay, but go ahead.
But
Richard Gere.
But Tom Cruise is almost 60 now, and he never will allow himself to go gray, right?
Ronald Reagan didn't.
That's true.
Ronald Reagan. Well, here's my point, because we only have a few minutes.
Some look good, some don't.
No, but
that's my answer.
Here's the central social thing. Is it more acceptable to people for some reason say, hey, it looks better when, in general, when a man goes gray and goes natural? But when a woman says, I'm going to go gray and I'm going to embrace this, and somehow society says, no, don't do that. You got to keep putting stuff on your hair, putting a ton of makeup on, go get a procedure, and that's expected of you. Isn't that kind of a sexist
No, I say, you know what,
attitude?
It's up to the individual. If you don't want to, don't do it. But I was always taught, look your best, do your best, be your best.
But can't gray be your best?
Yeah, if that's what they want to do.
You just don't think it looks good on Sarah Jessica Parker?
I don't know. I haven't seen her.
You saw the picture.
It was so
who kinda
far
pulled
away.
off gray?
Yeah. What's that?
Remember Elizabeth Taylor? She kind of pulled off gray there with that mixture of gray and black she had gone for a while.
She had pure black hair,
Yes.
and the mixture of that looks good.
Emmylou Harris, the singer. Have you seen her? Long flowing gray hair. I think she looks great.
There is a double standard, Alan, when it comes to women. Though our society
I think so.
Treats an aging woman far worse than it does an aging man, and it does need to change.
A lot of women go gray in their 30s.
That's my 20s. Feeling exact. What's that?
And some women go gray really, really early in life, too.
Mm-hmm.
And you look at these movies, they pair like Sean Connery in his like 75 with like a 25-year-old girl in these movies. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah. I just
would they do that the other way? Would they have a 75-year-old woman with a 25-year-old guy?
They've started.
Like,
here's what I think could happen. As Sex and the City, purportedly by the critics, broke new ground on women's liberty in terms of sexual content and their sexual freedom, I think they have a chance to break ground on this ageism thing. I think they have a chance to do something even much more important and impactful in society if they're able to pull that off on this series.
They will.
Where you saw them as running around New York with the mini skirts and they do something like and show that people mature, they get older, and not only is that not the end of your life, that's the beginning of a great new life.
And be cool.
That's your 50s and 60s and 70s and be some of the most fulfilling years. And I think that's where they're trying to go with this.
Well, both my sisters are with guys that are 20 years younger than them. So.
What happened to you?
In most societies,
you end up with the old man.
In most societies, the people, especially Asian societies, they respect their elders. They love their elders. And in America, it's almost like we push our elders out and we just keep celebrating youth, and it's wrong.
It is wrong.
That's right. Kim already has my room picked out over at the retirement home. What do you do?
See, it had a nice view, Alan.
I'm not going to worry until she starts going to I get the mail and she's got some from the Fresno Cemetery, thanking her for buying a plot.
I already have them.
For one.
They're already paid for.
For one.
for one.
My dad did that a long time ago.
I got one headline I just want to throw out.
Arkansas?
John.
Yeah, but that's an Arkansas. I'm not shipping you to Arkansas if you pass away. Yeah. You're going to be next to me.
You're going to plot with my family.
Yeah. I'll be dead.
Alan, can I throw out one headline?
Yeah. Please, you got a minute left. Throw, baby, throw.
John Gruden's filing a lawsuit against Roger Goodell personally and the NFL for defamation of character now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. All about the emails? Or their response to the emails?
Well, and it's very peculiar. Why does his emails come out and nothing else comes out from that case? It was a good job.
Now I see where he's coming from. Thanks for that clarification. Let's talk about that. Hopefully you can come back before next Free for All Friday. I'd like to talk about that. You gonna be available Monday? Can you go Monday?
I'm shooting for Monday. Let's put me on the
maybe list. Well,
Monday.
anyway, we'll talk. I'll save that subject because I want to hear what you have to say on that, because you really go deep into some of these stories, and I want to tap into that because he went away real fast. Gruden, did you notice that? No press conference, no nothing, and you're saying, okay, what's he doing here? You can't like. The emails were not appropriate, but they were private emails. Those were private emails.
Yeah.
And private emails, 11 years old.
Yeah. All right,
That's bad.
Folks, thank you for joining us Free for All Friday.
Thank
when you hear Roy and Dale saying we know we only have 15 seconds left in this show. Stephen, thank you. Kimberly, thank you. Woody, thank you.
Thank you guys
Jose,
for having us.
Thank you. Guillermo, God bless you. God bless America. Good Lord willing, Creek don't rise. We're going to be here on Monday. Bye-bye now.
Woo!
Woo!
Alan, we're making the world a better
All
place.
right. Good show, guys. Good show.
Thank you. That was
all right,
great,
kill the feed,
buddy.
Jose.
Love you, Steven. Talk to you soon, buddy.
Love you guys. I'll see you
Love
next
you,
week.
Steve.
Love you too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Oh, I got kidding.